protein is made of individual building blocks called amino acids. The greatest loss in your protein is not when you digest it or don't digest it, and whether or not you absorb it. The greatest loss is in whether or not you use it. Say you take the ideal dosage of like 20 grams, and let's assume it's 100% digestible and absorbable. You get all of it in your bloodstream after your workout. Your muscles are going to be pulling amino acids out of the bloodstream and making these protein chains. Eventually they run out of one of the essential amino acids. Recovery and building muscle has to stop. Protein synthesis has to stop because they are short on one essential amino acid. And the typical example of most proteins out there are based on like whey protein. They are 60 to 70% deficient in certain key essential amino acids. So that means you literally pee out 2/3 of the protein you eat. The usability is where the greatest loss occurs. When you eat food, doesn't matter what source it is, the protein in it is made up of little chains of amino acids, and they'll all come in a different sequence based on the source it was. So beef will have a different amino acid sequence in the protein chains that they have than chicken or fish. When your body breaks those down, they take off all these amino acids into free-form amino acids that float around. And if you pile them up and put them in a jar, I use the example of beads. These beads all have different colors. They represent different amino acids. You then pull out of that jar in the sequence you need. According to your genetic code, it says, I need this specific sequence of amino acids. And so you start pulling out the amino acids, putting them in that sequence to make your muscle. And you build this chain. It looks kind of like a beads on a necklace. But what happens if you get to a certain point and you run out of one of those colors of beads or one of the essential amino acids that you need? Your body can't do anything about that. It stops. You've run out of the one building block you need. Even though you have all these other building blocks, it just takes being deficient in one. And you still have a jar full of essential amino acids and other amino acids that you can't use. To me, it's common knowledge. With my background in animal nutrition, that's always the first thing you do. In any species that you're going to create a diet for, the very first thing is you look at the amino acid balance, then you balance the rest of the diet off of that. It's the core. We get these old rabbits, geriatric rabbits that are like 10, 12 years old that have body weight issues that are either underweight because they've been protein deficient all their life, or they're overweight because they've been protein deficient all their life. They've done studies where if they remove one of those amino acids down to a 50% level, and yet they still have plenty of protein in general, that rabbit will start to lose muscle mass and gain body fat. And over time, it actually increases mortality rates. And if you simply add those amino acids back into the right ratio, they gain muscle faster, they'll burn off body fat, it balances the diet, and they will lose body fat and build muscle, and they act like younger rabbits again. You know, I came from this background of eating clean and healthy, and I ate lots of protein, but my recovery was really slow, even though I was getting plenty of protein. By introducing NiTOR into my diet, I recovered much faster. And I've discovered from my own personal use, as well as much of our athletes have discovered, that by replacing more of their protein sources with NiTOR, that their recovery is so much faster and they're making gains faster. Like I shared earlier, the greatest loss in your protein is not when you digest it or don't digest it, and whether or not you absorb it. The greatest loss is in whether or not you use it. We've gone to great lengths to fine-tune the balance of NiTOR so that you can actually use all that protein.